Hey, welcome to the Mostly Skateboarding Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Munzenrider, and I'm joined this week by Patrick Kigongo and Jason from Frozen and Carbonite to talk about Toby Ryan going pro. But first, the fine line between modeling gigs, rubbing my chin, and sponsorship, ... This week, Templeton, our beloved leader, flagged for us an Instagram post from a mall brand, Hollister, you've heard of it, featuring, among other skaters, Lil Dre. Dre and others wear the gear, pose for some flicks, and don't really have to skate. We hope they got paid well, but the scenario raises some questions. What's the difference between writing for a brand, aka endorsing it, and wearing the gear for a photo shoot? Should skaters be picky when it comes to picking up that easy money from modeling? And how should sponsors feel about it? Supreme has had feelings in the past. Jason, is there no such thing as bad coverage when it comes to being a skater who wants to get paid?
Hey, easy money, baby. Like, I wouldn't begrudge anyone for picking up any gig, no matter how cringe-inducing in this day and age, especially if you're like a young pro skater, not really like, you're not in the upper echelon of making money yet, that kind of thing. Just trying to make it or whatever. And you probably live in a city like San Francisco or LA, which are expensive as fuck. And it's just like, go to the shoot, whatever, sit around, take some photos, and that's it. It's like easy money. But like lame gigs might affect your personal brand. Like, also in this day and age, everyone's a brand. I'm a brand, you're a brand, everyone's a brand. And might make it harder to get on actual cool brands that you actually back. I mean, I don't know. People, that's been frowned upon in the past, but yeah, I don't know. But again, I wouldn't like look down on it or begrudge it for anyone, especially in this day and age.
Hard-hitting question. How do we define a lame brand? Or more specifically, a brand that does not meet the standard of cool. And cool is it's difficult to define, but for both of y'all, what makes you say no about a brand or look sideways at a sponsored skater for taking something?
Man, good question. You could draw a line between, say, mall brands and actual print editorial or runway work for like Louis Vuitton, whatever. But, that might be just snobbery, who knows, man? It's kind of all the same.
Yeah, I mean, the difference between Hollister and like a PacSun, there is a difference, but it doesn't seem like a huge gulf just because it's like, the same suburban mall in Minnesota. I can go find that at the malls that are still,
the Mall of America, baby.
I'm thinking Rosedale and Roseville, but yeah, maybe the MOA too. I'm just thinking like, I think it's related to just like, I've talked to people and it's been a long running thing where like a skater's board sponsor will be very influential on what type of shoe sponsor they can get. If you're in quote unquote, I'm not quoting anybody, but quote unquote, a lower rung board sponsor, it's going to be tough to get on to one of the Nikes, Adidas, New Balance, etc. I have it on good authority that, if you're on Limousine or, Violet or brands of that ilk, like it's going to be easier to be Nike or Adidas. And it's actually like, if you're an up and coming skater, it's a pretty narrow band of board sponsors that are actually going to get you over the hump into being like, okay, we'll put you on this thing. So I do think it's kind of dodgy going after random modeling gigs that, again, everybody get paid because there's not a lot of money out there, especially just in like core skating, but it could be dodgy going after it.
No, I mean, we've seen it recently with Tom Knox, for example. Tom Knox just left Dickies and went over to Numeric Apparel. Like, we all know how sponsors, skaters like to get like one check, you know what I mean, as opposed to a bunch of different checks. So if you're in that type of deal, it would make sense that they wouldn't be too psyched if you were like out there in some different brand. You know what I mean?
One thing that I thought about, just preparing for this, and I think this goes back to like the whole Tyshawn Supreme situation. It's like, what what looks good for our brand versus like who's whack and we don't want to be affiliated with them. And I think that, it's a minefield.
It is. And at the same time, though, just because the circumstances are difficult doesn't necessarily mean we should, or a skater should, abandon some sense of principles. What's challenging, though, is that there's never been an overarching authority or somebody to come and say what's cool, what's not. It used to be hyper regional. There used to be some pretty towering figures in skate culture who determined that. Now it's a free for all. And as I was preparing for this episode, I found a quick post by Jessica Bailey, who skates for There, who said this: "You think that a skateboarder is selling out because they model for Hollister and want to make money? You're living in a different world. Skateboarders can't live off $1,000 a month and continue to skate. If you enjoy watching your favorite skater put out content, watching your favorite skater's parts, you should want them to get paid. The only thing I care about is my favorite skaters are getting their money and able to do what they want. Make your money, pay your bills, period." But I think there's a big yes and there, especially with regards to Hollister. And I'll tell you why, on some old head shit. Hollister, Abercrombie, that mall preppy stuff is whack for two big reasons. Number one, if we're talking about the preppy hierarchy in terms of drip, it's anything that lives within the Ralph Lauren Polo cinematic universe. So that includes double RL, Polo Sport, all of that, or Lacoste. Then Hilfiger, then Nautica. Then the other stuff is mall shit, right? It was always second rate. It was whack then. And then number two, and this is the big one, this is on some, again, this is peak old head shit. On some principle, these were the guys we used to fight. These were the guys we used to fight who used to rock Hollister and Abercrombie.
Oh, word, okay.
Especially the lacrosse players, yo. How are you going to go and rep the guys who called us every name under the sun, who were beefing with us at school, in gym class, after school, at the mall, when they were driving by with their buddies? That to me might be a bridge too far. That being said, let me
clarify something. Yeah. When you said we want to fight, it was the other way around.
Yeah, they wanted to fight us, but that's also why we had
for
to
no good reason. Yeah.
You couldn't just be like, oh, you had to find the other skaters in your town, village, city, wherever. You needed to, like, in the 90s, you need to have a crew. And maybe there were some BMXers and rollerbladers and graffiti heads but you had to roll deep because there were people who wanted to fight you for no reason other than being different, even though they wore whack clothes, listened to whack music, and are still whack to this day. But I understand where Jessica's coming from because, we all got bills to pay.
There's also a lot of good skaters who are working jobs and skating as well as anybody. I don't know. It's a different economy. I get that. I don't know. We could go on a whole tangent of what does selling out mean, because we're all, I don't know. I'm saying I don't know too many times. I do know. I'm trying to talk. We're a millennial or Gen X adjacent people where selling out is a very distinct thing.
Yeah, as it should be.
And I think you do lose something. Yeah, shit. You lose something if you do a Hollister shoot, even if it's just to get that easy check. And I get it, but there is like a whack line in the sand that I don't want to cross. Jason?
Well, first of all, if a lacrosse player tried to like boss up on anyone, I would just laugh at them because
they're gonna hit you with their stick or throw the ball at you.
Like I heard someone say one time, and this was fucking hilarious. Like, lacrosse is for people who can't take a hit in football and can't hit a baseball. Like, you know what I mean? On the tier of like toughness of high school athletics, selling out. Well, the thing about skating is it's a subculture. It's like an honest to goodness subculture that was built by us, right? And it's cool because you can't buy it. Like, you can't buy knowing how to skate. You have to like have skin in the game and like take the 6 months to learn how to ollie or whatever the fuck. And like selling out, like in the early 90s or whatever, before big ass corporations were in the game, like, yeah, selling out was a real thing because skating was still tied to like punk rock. Like Fugazi was big. People in like punk rock hardcore skating subcultures kind of looked up to them because they're like they didn't sell out. They still haven't sold out. They could have sold out. And like, but on the other hand, it's a different economy. I mean, like back then you could get like whatever, $500 from your board sponsor and whatever, $300 from your truck sponsor and still be able to live in an apartment in North Hollywood or some shit.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, just to like,
spots.
just to clarify and go on, like shit's just more expensive now. And it's just, I don't know, housing scarcity and everything else.
But we're also
all the pressures.
We're also operating in a space in which we have we are trying to analyze a fiscally opaque industry.
Yeah.
A fiscally, like you hand the problem of skateboarding to an economist, they will throw up their hands in rage and just be like, why are you giving me something that is impossible to solve? Like, how am I supposed to create a data set out of this when I don't know what the inputs are? Like, we have we understand what the costs are. We know what the material costs are. We know what the cost of housing is. I mean, I say all that to say this. Maybe we need a big homie in skateboarding, somebody who needs to call for kind of like a Huey P. Long. You know, Huey P. Long was a very controversial populist in Louisiana in the 20th century. You know, it was like a car in every garage, a chicken in every pot. We need to go back to the 1990s. What was the standard of being a pro skater? You know, a light color, like a Honda Civic in every garage, a gold chain.
Carport.
A Honda Civic in the carport, a gold chain, some light colored denim, and a fresh pair of whatever sneakers you want as chillers. Like, what is the standard? But then, go on.
when you bring up the chillers, it's so funny. It when we're talking about aspirational polo sport and or Hollister even. I don't know. Hollister is just kind of like the red herring here because nobody is really into that gear, and I get it. You get paid. But like there was a time when the Honda Civic in every carport was the ideal. You know, skaters just made their own shit that mimicked the mainstream stuff that they were into, but maybe couldn't afford. But it was a vibe and it was a look, you know, Drawers clothing, every DC pro model, every Eric Costin pro model, you know, they were just aping other things in the culture. And it's really fun because I didn't get any of that shit. I had no idea what the reference points were. So I'm like, whoa, this is even crazier. And yeah, I wanted to wear it because it was just skate shit. And it's funny to watch skateboarding kind of cross back over and be like, yeah, now we're into this stuff. I mean, it's the homie Midler on like Guess jeans. I guess people wore Guess. I suppose people wore Guess.
Fuck those guys.
Guess jeans was like
anybody wear Guess? I have no idea.
I mean, like Allen Iverson was on Guess. Like he was sponsored by Guess, famously. I think that was a regional thing. I think it was more like for girls. Like all the bad girls like wore Guess jeans.
The bad girls.
Like a bad girl from 91 with like a high pony and like, oh.
Yeah, dude. In some fucking Guess like overalls. But anyway.
Damn.
Mike made a good point that when we came out with like drawers and elbow clothing and all that shit, it was literally like people like Sal Barbier who had said this. Like, yeah, he was into polo and shit and Jordans wearing that shit, you know, being outside. So it made sense that he would like, you know, try to do similar things, but within, you know, our subculture, you know, and now not 100% sure, but it seems like the skater owned brands aren't really like what's hot with your average skater. It's more like old like band shirts, kind of like looking like a dirt bag seems to be what's like hot in the streets out there.
Until it's not.
Yeah.
And what's I feel is a looming issue here is that there's just not that many clothing brands that are like we're a skate clothing brand or even we're a skate adjacent clothing brand. You know, that's like a sex hippies, which is, I don't know, they make some cool stuff. I'm not completely sold on their name, which was just hard to say as a podcaster, just like coming up with it out of my head. Sex hippies. Yeah. But their shit is cool. I've seen it in person. It's nice. And it's also super spendy because they're a small operation. This is from the mouth of my homie Dennis at Familia explaining why these cool shorts were like $90. there's Huff. There is Pearls skate specific, or are they kind of like skate adjacent? I don't know. I'm asking you guys. Pearl, up or down on that?
Yeah, I think I think that's skate adjacent.
Yeah.
But like they're small, you know?
Yeah.
And so that makes just scaling and prices and everything difficult. You know, this is skateboard clothing. This is a brand that makes skateboard clothing. Like Huff's there, but they're also wider appeal. I just think that, I suppose I'm giving people leeway when they take a modeling gig or whatever, because there's just not that, like, nobody's getting a $1,000 a month check from their clothing sponsor. It's not like Planet Earth clothing exists anymore.
Actually, they do, and you don't want to know.
Well, like, hold on, bro. So does Elwood, but they're big in Australia or whatever.
Really?
You know that story, right?
No.
Elwood blew. Now I'm gonna fuck up the story, but mostly went away. But then it blew up in Australia, and they were like, "Oh, we're just gonna be an Australian brand for a while." And they're like just like bar dude, like, or are they pubs in Australia? Like they're just like dude clothing. And now listeners have probably seen it creep back into their Instagram feeds, but like Elwood blew up in, you know, the southern hemisphere Anglophone zone. And that's what they did for a while.
Yo, bring back Edward Sebastian clothing.
Yeah. I mean, did they try? I think Sal tried or is trying to bring back aesthetics. Anyway, but yeah, with the skater-owned clothing brands and stuff, yeah, like it's gonna be a small operation, so the stuff is gonna be like mid-tier, like expensive, and like skaters only have so much discretionary income. You know what I mean? Your average skater, like me, I will buy a fucking like Huff cardigan for $150 because like I feel like I have a job, I have some discretionary income, I can wear it to work and shit, you know, whatever. But like your average skater is going to be like, what? It's not like, you know, in their kind of like in their orbit, you know?
It's strange. I don't know. I'm not necessarily disagreeing, but I'm trying to, when I worked at Familia, and this is like 2010, maybe Huff was doing like a selvage thing, or the guy who was buying for the shop had brought in salvage denim that was $100. And maybe just in the Twin Cities market at the time, that was insane for the skaters. I think maybe that price point has moved up since then.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like not at all, you know, disagreeing with the like the basic idea that you were saying, but I just don't think that. Okay, now speaking for the Twin Cities market, and again, secondhand information from the skate shop, skaters are willing to pay money, but they don't want to pay it for skate shit. Like there's kids that'll rep, like, I'm going to butcher it, Balagencia or whatever that shit is.
Balenciaga.
Jeez. Hello, Italia, Mr. Italia. But, you know, it's kind of like cool guy shit. And I think that maybe just goes back to kind of the root of all this,
which is
like people got to get paid. People want to be cool.
Oh,
yeah.
What about, I guess, what's beyond the pale for you guys? What type of sponsors are just like, nope, it's not happening? Like what's something that if you were a team manager and you saw a pro who said, oh, such and such, I did an ad for this company and blah, 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 it's paying me a shitload to do X or Y, what would it be? Clothing wise,
just like, I think American Eagle, because that was just like low tier. That's like the lowest tier of the mall brands.
I mean, that is really like there's a chain of bars here called Cowboy Jacks, and unfortunately, maybe a person I hold in high esteem like barbacks there just to make a shitload of money on the weekends. But like that's the American Eagle, like, you know, that's who shops there and that's who drinks there. And yeah, it's pretty low tier. What else?
Wait, is that like a combination bar, like retail clothing place?
Oh God, it does sound like that.
That's how you described it.
Oh no, it was the American Eagle customer who goes to get fucking Cowboy Jacks.
Yeah, I mean, but like, I'll tell you what, something that just came up that was like, just like morally, like, you know, if that's whatever, a thing, like that, I guess there was this gambling app called Stake, right? I guess they're trying to make inroads in the gambling market, which is so fucking huge. Like they had an ad with like Nigel, Dylan Jeb, I forget who else, but like that was pretty lame, I thought, because like, I don't know. Gambling, I guess, is fun. I guess it's a adrenaline rush like anything else, but like not the greatest like product.
I'm gonna
especially for the target demo, which is like younger folk.
Young adrenaline rush chasing kids. Gonna go. I think I read this in Trash that Dylan Jabe was just in the photo, is not affiliated with that.
Oh, well, that's good to hear. Good to hear.
Yeah, Trash and Thrasher. Thrasher's trash column. when you say it quick, it's like that ancient name for that department in the mag. It gets a little troublesome. Yeah, innocent bystander, Dylan Jabe.
I think for me it would have to be. Trying to think, what's the wackest of whack clothing brands right now?
Like Hey Dude shoes.
Oh Jesus!
Oh, Lord have mercy, yo!
Someone came up like, "Yo, Hey Dude skate division." Like,
dude, I think I said in the group chat one time, I'm at the mall and everybody wearing Hey Dude shoes, like has the body type. All due respect, but those shoes do not give you enough support for like as much weight as you're putting on your feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's painful. Yeah, Hey Dude is pretty bad.
Hey Dude skate would be hilarious.
My knee jerk would have been U.S. Polo Association, which is a knockoff of Polo. But I saw the light. I saw the light in Japan. I saw some kids in Osaka rock that shit and make it look fly.
Shout out Osaka.
Yo, like I was just like, wait a minute, y'all took like the worst brand in TJ Maxx, Marshalls, wherever, and made that shit wavy. Like, respect. So it has potential. So U.S. Polo Association, yeah. Actually, I would say this: if it is a still running 90s hip hop affiliated clothing brand where all of the principals have either divested, or in the case of Sean Diddy Combs, locked up. So Sean John, Carl Kanai, Fubu, like the vintage stuff, the cuts and the looks are amazing. But like if you're still reaching for that in 2026, something new with tags, not dead stock, new with tags of any of those brands, like just no. Yeah. And if like Jay-Z, because I think is he trying to bring back Rockaware or
no?
Jay-Z. 50 Cent is bringing back the whatchamacallit, the Reebok joint.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're retroing the G Unit sneakers.
Why?
This month, I think.
Why?
Someone was like,
I guess
30 years, 30.
I think there's a lot of nostalgia for that like early G Unit period, which I fucking love. Like, you know,
I mean, like
first 50 Cent album, etc.
20-year cycles.
20-year cycles. So 20-year cycle.
So like baggy pants and white tees and a fresh pair of either S. Carters or the G Unit Reeboks. Like that's going to be back for summer 2K27.
Terrible shoes.
Maybe so. Maybe like quadruple XL, like Pete Maravich jerseys and shit. Whoever.
It's gonna be looking like Beeble.
on middle-aged dudes though.
Yeah,
Beeble's 265 though.
I'm talking throwback Beeble. Like when he first came out.
I'm talking nowadays Beeble.
I guess so. I mean, maybe he's the mark. I mean, look, I think for me, I think going full circle for me, it's the mall preppy brands. If you're rocking that shit like that, those guys are still the ops to this day. I don't care if they're in Jersey or Connecticut and hedge fund managers, like you're still the ops.
No, hedge fund managers are ops forever. Like I think my thing is the beef goes back to before these guys walked across the stage of graduation from college, where they started off on their path of destruction. The beef is real. I'm sorry, Trevor and Chad and them. So if I didn't name, I don't think I named really my hater. I've honed in anybody who's ever going to do like the Abercrombie thing. Like that was the trifest brand that anybody could wear here vis-a-vis like, are you a friend of the skateboarder when many people were enemies? And yeah, you like if all the best SD dudes preview of what's coming up, like they're not fucking with Abercrombie. So I think we're safe. Like, I don't think anybody cool is ever going to do that.
I guess so. It's just, it's again, yeah, I'd say like those guys are the ops. But at the same time, though, we're all real adults. We have bills, we have concerns, we have worries, we have to think about real things. And so I understand it. I may not respect it. I may not like it. But this is a hell of a lot better than the skateboard industry chewing up and spitting out people who have no idea how money works and can't take care of themselves. And all of a sudden, like they're 35, 40 and just like, what the fuck happened to my life?
It is true. We are 100% still, after all this rigmarole, fully down with skaters getting paid. And it's we still like it to an extent when it's not 1000% cheesy, that skaters get recognition for being really fucking cool. You guys, fantasy non-endemic gear sponsors, clothing sponsors, non-endemic to skating.
You
had some good ones, Jason.
First off, Audemars Piguet, big watch guy. LVMH, Jordan Brand. SB is great, but just Jordan Brand specifically. Brooks Brothers, big suit guy, and Rick Owens, just because.
Holy shit.
PK, go.
Wow. I don't know how to follow that.
I know. He thought outside the box. No, I'm looking like a poser, but
like Jason, like you checked all the boxes. Like that's a different type of that's a tsunami range of wavy. My phone just buzzed. Okay.
I know,
so for me,
his life is kitted out for the rest of the millennium now.
He's gonna be coming through with like the fresh, like a whole walk-in closet of just the Brooks Brothers shit for all 4 seasons and then some. Okay, so for me, it's gonna be LVMH, more specifically, so I could get Fendi. Oh my goodness, Snow Peak, because I like my Japanese outerwear.
Dope. Yeah,
right. Sergio Tacchini, right? Just like the best in Italian leisure wear. They got the best shorts. But more importantly, if you watch The Sopranos, you know the finest tracksuits. Umbro for the jerseys and the shorts. And then finally, Ben Davis.
Nice one.
Because they made their workwear is cut correctly and it looks so good. Mike, what about you? What's your dream non-endemic drip sponsors?
I mean, now that we're just dripping all over the place. Non-endemic. Fuck it. I want Nespresso. I want all the coffee. I want all the coffee makers. I do want Polo Sport or Polo or Ralph Lauren, whatever it is. I want the umbrella. I just got like another one of their hats, and it's so dope and so good. That's dope. Very good. I'm gonna say Roots Canada. Y'all ever heard of Roots Canada? I don't know. We had a board company here called Roots Skateboards, and it didn't interfere with Roots Canada. But then I got into I wanted to relive it once the board brand went away, and so I was buying Roots Canada shit, and that stuff's kind of dope. Mountain Hardware, Ryan Lay, nice job, dude. Rival podcaster, maybe not a rival podcaster anymore. We'll see.
Shout out
Ryan.
I do
5?
Sure.
Yeah,
friend of the pod, friend of Arrow.
Yeah, Ryan, you can come on here anytime. Guest pod.
Send the box.
Yeah, and I want Patagonia too, because I trust their heavy duty outdoor shit. It's really good. Yes, Patrick, what were you saying? Send the box.
Send the box. Send the box. We got a backmask it. We'll just say that, and then Templeton, you reverse it and just put that in random places. Subliminal messaging, like Ozzy back in the day.
That's sick. You know what I thought of one time, and I'm gonna transition into the next topic. But if you said I'm stoked on something, like the podcast ends immediately. Yeah. So even if it was I'm stoked on X, it's that podcast ends, even if it's 2 minutes in.
Gotta be careful.
Yeah, that's shouts to our late great colleague Maddie Maddie Matson
Shout out
now.
Maddie.
Shout out Maddie. She'd be prone to say I'm stoked on something. I'm like, are we done? And like that was literally like fucking with my brain. Should we do the next topic?
Yeah.
Let's.
Okay, guys, I got something to tell you.
What's up? What's new? What's the news? Hit me.
We're ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, Toby Ryan is pro. Toby Ryan is flying through the air doing a 25-foot backside shifty in Biarritz. Toby Ryan just backside nollie flipped some bonkers shit again. This past weekend came news that, yes, I got to calm down. Toby Ryan turned pro AF. We've griped on this podcast about skate happenings and how brands should make them feel significant. Well, Toby Ryan turning pro happened and it caught our attention. It even came with the feel-good video or two featuring Toby Ryan's mom, Melissa Romero. I think we call him Toby Ryan until he's not just Toby Ryan. He's a good two-part name. Patrick, what's the secret to Toby Ryan's success?
It's the greatest question in skateboarding, especially when it comes to a place like Carlsbad, California, or anywhere in San Diego County, specifically the north of the county. Is it nature or is it nurture? First of all, he's got a cool mom. And the fact that, her being a single mom, dealing with all types of life shit, incarceration, addiction in the family, things like that. Her saying, Toby turning pro, it means everything to me. That's who he always wanted to be. Both of you guys are parents. Like, that's some real shit. Like,
Well, I'll finish with that.
No, just like that. Like, it's moving. Like, it feels a bit sappy. I'm just like, it's not just that he's what he was always wanted to be. He's always looked nice on a board. No little kid style. You were saying, Jason.
Well, yeah, I was just saying that, after watching this video, I just remembered that, I tried to Toby Ryan my own kids, and it didn't work. Like, I got on boards, always had boards around. Like, I'll take them on a session sometimes, but no, but seriously, like, this is cool because, like, skating's old enough where, and this has probably been happening for a while, but where, like, people who were around for, like, the 80s, 90s boom, like the 80s boom, then the 90s boom, like, they're having kids now and they're going pro. So obviously they're more like supportive than our parents were, like us Gen X folk who were like, oh, this is horrible. What is this shit? Yeah. Like Patrick said, looking at the old footage, like he definitely had good style as a kid, which is super rare. Like you really don't see that even with like the most prodigy of prodigies. And making going pro seemed like an event. I like this video because it was structured like a 5-paragraph essay, except you had your thesis at the end. It was like, here's why Toby Ryan should be pro. Like a creative, like good, super gnarly, blah, blah, blah. And they had all the evidence like before that. Oh, he did tricks A through Q, escape exhibits A through Q, can skate vert too. Yeah, I was wondering how he could do that giant like 360 transfer or whatever. Oh, he's like came up skating vert, like of course. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty dope idea from the deluxe folks.
That was a handless 360, right?
Yeah. How do you get the board to stick to his feet? Like, you know what I mean?
It's magnets. It's like Bob Burnquist dark arts.
Magnets. How do they work? Anyway.
So, now we're going medieval, man. Portuguese. Shit. Toby Ryan, like, you get some of these people, and I alluded to it in the introduction, where so-and-so turns pro, and this is, all due respect to so-and-so who turned pro in recent times. There's a lot of big, like, who gives a fuck, to cut to the chase. Like, the Toby Ryan build up, and he's homies with Dylan Jabe, who, took way too long to go pro, but we didn't see so much Toby Ryan as we did Dylan Jabe, who is the Instagram darling, where I was like, fuck this kid. He's too happy. He's too SoCal. He's too handsome. Like, we got Toby. I was trying to think of other pro skaters. He's now pro. Pro skaters who are like Toby's. Toby Parkhurst, different spelling. Not a lot of other Tobys.
No, not too many Tobys.
There was
the
Tobias Walker, rest in peace.
Who else before I... Tobias, but he was never a Toby, I don't think.
Nah.
Maybe it's to his homies.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is that, like, Toby Ryan came flying in, had a bunch of good footage. Feels like it was maybe like 2.5, 3 years up until now. And now he's pro. And then he goes over to Europe and does like the wild ass contest that you got to do out there. And he's like, oh, he's the main dude. And now he's just like the main player in skating. And we're going to see those clips on IG for the entire weekend. And it's like, yep, he is the main dude. And yeah, he should be pro. I think that's like good work.
Something I noticed about him going pro, this announcement, is that it forced me to revisit his part or his parts throughout Oval, the real video that premiered. Was it last year or earlier this year? Like, I don't know.
It was like, it was, anyway, besides the point, I did the same thing.
Year, but
I did the same thing. It was in December of last year, I believe.
Oh my goodness. It feels like a lifetime ago. Besides the point, rewatch that video in preparation for the pod and remember, oh, he was so good. It is, which that makes me think about, like, he's in, I guess this is CPH Open. So this edition is in Biarritz, or I guess it's Basque country, because I think there was a few people who were on the Spanish side of the border in San Sebastian and Bilbao. Do you think, you know, before this contest, do you think any of these guys had to check in? Do you think they had to check in with Lucas Puig?
To search for, like, if they wanted to go surfing, probably.
They probably know who Lucas is, but yeah,
like it's like you pull up to Biarritz, you check in with Lucas. You check in with Lucas.
I'd be checking in with the Basque homies more. Like, I'm like, all right.
I mean, it's Basque country on both sides. So bong bong.
Yeah, one of the ETA. What's up?
Watch us end up on a watch list.
Nah, man, we're friendly. We're cool. We're cool with the
actually
many separatist groups.
A funny side story about them was I was in Biarritz on my honeymoon, and it
is this a funny side story about ETA?
Well, it was while we were there. There was a huge police procession. One of the last guys to get caught on terrorism charges had been hiding out in France for something like 2 decades. And he was being escorted overland. Like, it was too risky to fly him, so it was police escort from Paris all the way to Biarritz. And it was a huge to-do when he came. And beautiful city, great skating there. And, those waves are terrifying. I don't know how you surf them. But back to Toby Ryan and the question of North County, like, is it just the availability of vert ramps there? You know, the fact that he grew up going to the famous, was it Magdalena Eck? YMCA, the famous YMCA that was in MTV Sports, and you'd always see the who's who, and then eventually getting to skate with Jimmy Wilkins, guys like that. Like, does nature help? Like, being in a place where there's a lot of really good skaters, and more importantly, like, a lot of really good park skaters?
There is absolutely a lot of help that comes from that. Thinking about, recent history in Minneapolis, where, there were... We didn't get any vert pros, but there's like so many good skaters who came out of the indoor park scene here. And there'd be, generations. For a while there was like 30-year-old pros, and then 22-year-old pros, and then like dudes who were coming up and people in between. Yeah, it's insane how helpful that is.
Yeah, it definitely helps having a vert ramp available and a mega ramp, apparently, which must be nice.
Yeah, that's like a... Oh, that's
not
cool
not
too,
like I would go skate a mega ramp anyway if there was one, like, you know what I mean, like maybe a mini mega, that's a thing, right? Anyway, but like, yeah, I mean, you can take him to the vert ramp, but like you can't really make a kid drop in on a vert ramp. You know what I mean? He has to have like the fire inside some way. You know what I mean?
Well, and you watch that video, whichever one I watched. There's the Thrasher and the real skateboards one. Is 2 different things, which I didn't necessarily pick up in the media scrum of it all. But like, he's just like a super baby skater, not an air baby necessarily, or maybe a reformed air baby because he's so good streetwise. But like, that's just a dude who knows how to skateboard innately, probably.
Yeah. I mean, there's got to be you know what I mean, whatever. The combination of DNA plus environment, combined there. It's like, hey, but I'll tell you what, like being down with Skate Mafia is definitely a plus because they're like the most, diehard skate rat of the skate rat. So definitely gain some cool points.
I mean, the combination of, you got a cool crew with great skaters, near perfect weather most of the year. Yeah, I wonder, in most sports, they say, the weight of the shirt or the heaviness of the shirt to imply that when you put on a certain jersey, that there's a lot of expectations that come with it. And sometimes people buckle under that pressure. I wonder if there's, is it the weight of the zip code, whatever you want to call it here, that can make it intimidating? Are there unreasonable or outsized expectations for skaters that come from a place like North County, San Diego? Are you supposed to be that nice? So it's like, what, you can't hard flip, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like less because like compared to when Trans World was like the shit, there's probably all this competition to like get coverage and sponsor and whatnot. It's probably like more mellow, definitely than it used to be, or compared to, LA area or something.
Oh, so you feel like because there's not as much heat on San Diego, there's not as much pressure, there's not as much of a media presence that now can just be
no media presence. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I can just skate and have fun and do my thing and still be able to get someplace, as opposed to, say, to your point, like you go back to it was the Kalis Epically Later, and he talked about living at Jamie Thomas's house. And then it's like, I wanted to be at the Alien House across the street where they were shooting dice.
Yeah, like out. No, San Diego, that whole like Encinitas, Carlsbad, San Diego area, that was like the mecca of skating. Now it's like, I don't know, LA, I don't know. It's hard to say if there's like one place, but like it would be pretty funny if San Diego became like a hotbed again.
I mean, the secret is that like the editor of Thrasher is a San Diego, lives in San Diego. I can't say he's a SD guy, but like, Toby Ryan, if you were watching Instagram stories as of late, he has the backing of the mag. Let's say that.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, backflip flip down Wallenberg. Seriously?
Yeah, and really easy.
Hey,
well, easy looking. Dudes do stuff down that, and sometimes it doesn't look easy. That looked easy.
He did make it look kind of easy, but it's pretty terrifying because you're like going blind. You're literally blind.
I'm actually like nollie. I don't know. Gun to my head. You got to throw something down it. This is the dumbest claim ever. I'd be like, all right, I'll try a backside on alley heel or a backside flip. So that's like,
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to San Francisco at the end of the month. So if someone happens to put a gun to my head, I'll report back about what I do down Wallenberg.
Switch tray, first try.
Jason had a completely fucked up trip to San Francisco.
That would be casual. Like, it was like, actually, Michael Burnett and them at Thrasher, this is an advanced call. Get the ramp ready. And we need multiple camera angles. We need GoPro. We need, we need two VXs, and we need at least a 16 millimeter to capture the,
I'm calling in the IMAX camera if I'm going to try something.
Well,
like I need that shit they shot Odysseus's fucking trip on.
Jason's just going to pull up one time, freshest outfit ever. It's going to be, and even better, with the Rick Owens, with like the full Rick Owens fit.
Well, yeah, like I don't even need the roll in either. I'll just bomb the hill switch. Like, fuck it.
Just like film the best part ever in a weekend in.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I think you run into a fence if you bomb the hill, and I don't even know if there's a non-fence option, but that would be sick if you could like dodge a bunch of shit.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
I don't know. We need an NBD.
I don't think anyone's done it. I guess, yeah.
Fakey tray is like the most dicey down anything trick. I've never even thought of. Yeah, no, that's a fucked up one.
Yours needs to. You got to have a perfect. It's one of those tricks that, like, there's such a small margin for error. If like you screw that up, like goodbye.
Well, it just wants to turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn though, like, hey, Bounty, Mostly Skate listeners, as host this week, if anybody wants to fakey tray Wallenberg, I got $50 on it. I'll pay out. Paid a kid one time $20 for a nose wheelie at the U of M. So
we got to up the stakes.
No, dude, I can't pay more than $50. My wife
no.
Get really
There's
mad.
got to be a mix of cash plus in-kind payment.
We'll get you a photo shoot with Hollister.
Yeah.
I think I could scrounge up $100.
All right, pot's at 150. All right, I raise you another hundo. All right, $250.
And we think Hollister paid good money. I'd be stoked to get that. I mean,
Okay, Hollister, I'm calling you up right now. Hollister, y'all got to match us.
You got him. You got him on the line. Like, patch me in.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. It's like, hey, what's up? This is Mike at Hollister. Yeah, I'll put us down for 10K.
Bet.
All right. Boom. Hollister's putting in 10,000.
There you go. Spot bounty, your trick bounty.
Trick bounty.
All right.
$10,250. So it's 10,000 from Hollister, 250 from us. If you can nollie Trey Wallenberg. Fakey Trey. Oh, if you nollie Trey, yo, like
that's so sketchy.
Okay, all right. If you nollie Trey, okay, I'll put it out there. If you nollie Trey, I will give you the Honda Fit.
We're skating for pink.
6-speed. 70,000 miles. It's 11 years old. It's barely driven. It's barely seasoned for a Honda. Come on, man.
Mostly skate. Lawyer has just texted me and said none of this is binding. It's all non-binding. Non-binding.
Yeah, you get the Honda Fit. You get if you can nollie Trey.
Patrick, the he's texting me a lot. He or she, whoever our lawyer is.
You mean our special guest counselor, the one and only Peter? Peter, is this binding?
No, it's complicated. I don't know. I'd be stoked if they show up.
All right, so I'm not offering up the Honda Fit, but
it's a really good car.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'll offer you the burrito of your choice at any Mission Burrito in San Francisco. Free refills are on me.
All right, the lawyer just gave me the thumbs up.
$250, burritos, free refills of choice.
3, 2, 1, which brings us to the part of the show where we talk about what we're stoked on this week. Someone's cursor just went through. Jason, what are you stoked on this week?
Well, we just talked about venture rider Toby Ryan, so I'm stoked on Venture Trucks out of San Francisco, California. Stoked on a couple of podcasts. Toby Morse from the band H2O. His podcast entitled One Life, One Chance recently had Dwid from my favorite band Integrity on. That was pretty dope. Stoked on Shane Hiles' appearance on the Living Proof podcast. Definitely, if you're into the recovery side of things, that's definitely a good listen. And not only am I the Prestige television and video game liaison for this podcast, I'm also the film liaison. So I'm stoked on the Odyssey, the movie version, which was pretty dope. No. So it was just pretty entertaining. I have no other comment. What are you stoked on this week?
All right, word. I'm stoked on a few things. I'm stoked on Spitfire Wheels. I am stoked on training for a half marathon. I'm really in it. I'm running the Long Beach half in October. This might be the stupidest thing I've ever agreed to do, but at the same time, I'm excited. I'm pushing myself to the outer limits to the best of my ability. And I'm really stoked on skating curbs again. It's just so much fun. Shout out to all the DMVs in Southern California, just having the perfect curbs, and especially ones where people aren't all driving through, where all us skaters skate. Mike, what you stoked on this week?
Oh, I'm stoked this week on riding my bike at dusk with the lights on. Super relaxing and just, pretty good. Also stoked on diving off a boat. If you get a chance to dive into Lake Minnetonka or any of your local lakes that you might find.
That's not Lake Minnetonka.
Yeah. I can confirm it was Halstead Bay, which is part of Lake Minnetonka. Glorious. Diving off a boat into the water is like when you feel good doing it, it's like olling a really big bump to bump with like utmost confidence. It's just, I'm going to do it. Talked about it with my buddy Neil, who was on the boat that day, who I got to dive to. And then, I'm not super helpful for people who, normally expect me to have all the skate video picks to pick up week by week. I just watched the movie The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. It's a 90s harebrained thriller about twisted motherhood. That's what I wrote down.
Is it with Rebecca De Mornay?
Is it De Mornay? I think it is.
I think so.
Blondie?
Yeah.
And then the homie the home girl who was one of Tony Soprano's spurned lovers who came to a pretty bitter end, but she's the lead.
Gloria Trillo.
Yeah, there we go. We got it all. Yeah, it's like I like these 90s movies where they're, an hour 48 and I can go to bed. That's all I want.
Yeah. They
don't
really
have to
don't
be
make them
237. No.
They really don't make them like that anymore. They're not making a lot of erotic thrillers.
Yeah, I mean,
they were in the early 90s. They were really pumping them out.
Dog, I mean,
Gen Z's like, why is there even like a mention that boobs exist? I don't know, man.
I mean, you laugh about that, but R.I.P. my homie Colin, who just passed recently. His widow was explaining to us, who's a professor as well. They're both professors. Explained that she teaches a culture and literacy course, and said that these kids are so squeamish about any type of sex or sexuality or anything racy or raunchy. You compare that to kids like us who are just like, yo, hit me up with like the most rando episode of Real Sex.
real sex, the whole HBO Real Sex thing was like, they never showed anything.
But it gave you a weird education because like, what the hell am I watching at, 13, 14? But we all turned out okay, I think.
Do we have anything to add to, that whole like, yeah, I think we're good. All right. That's it for our show this week. Be sure to check Mostly Sorry, there's kids upstairs talking and now I'm thrown off. Beatrice, quiet down for a sec. That's it for our show this week. Be sure to check mostlyskateboarding.net for links and other show notes. So well curated by Templeton every week even when he's not here. We appreciate what he does. Until next week when we do another podcast, you can keep up with us all online. Patrick, where can the people find you on the internet?
You can find me lurking on Instagram under the handle @Kigongo. Jason, where can the people find you on the internet, formerly known as the internets?
On Twitter at Carbonite1994, on Instagram at Frozen Carbonite, and writing stuff for quartersnacks.com. Hopefully some new stuff coming for end of third quarter, fourth quarter, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Mike, where can people find you?
I'm hoping to get a Quarter Snacks article going pretty soon there too. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram, and my handle is @Munzenrider. Posting all the time. Maybe not. We'll see y'all next week.